Hi, Gene here with today's thought. Donald Trump, as you know, he was indicted a few weeks ago, and people have been debating how that would affect his candidacy. It seems to have affected it. Well, the conventional wisdom, even among some Republicans, is that it helps him. He's going to win the primary and lose the general. I don't subscribe to that at all. And one reason is because the polls now, the average of polls, Trump versus Biden, show Trump ahead. That's the average, and the most recent polls show Trump ahead. In one case, the Rasmussen poll, that's of likely voters, people very likely to vote based on their past voting behavior. Trump leads by 7 points in that poll. So it's so far been positive. Also, Mike Pompeo had announced his candidacy, and well, either that or it was speculation that he was going to, but he just announced that he's not going to run, which is really what all these, except for maybe Ron DeSantis, if you have Nikki Haley, you have Vivek Ramaswamy, you have several of these lesser knowns running for president who, let's be frank, have no chance of getting the nomination. So if they really don't want, I mean, are their egos so big? That's what I can never understand. I guess the egos of these people are so maybe almost as big as Donald Trump's. But they should know they have no chance, but they still want to put their hats in the ring. And that just helps Trump, actually, because you divide the opposition to Trump among several candidates. That's what happened in 2016, as a matter of fact. That's how he won. And also, this is a little pet peeve of mine. When they had the debates, the primary debates, they had this stupid rule that whoever was doing the best in the polls would have the center position in the debate. And the problem with that is that Trump had the lead in the first poll, and so he had center stage. But that, if you always put him in the center, because he always was ahead in the polls going forward from then, it creates a visual perception of him as the presumptive candidate, because he's always in the center. He's the center of attention, everybody off to the side. So what they really ought to do is have people, they should switch, alphabetically, and then each person have a turn in the center. And then sometimes, if Trump had been standing on the far end of the stage at some points, I have to wonder whether maybe Ted Cruz or somebody else would have been the candidate. And also if Ted Cruz would have, he has a weak chin, and that's why he has, I'm not going to talk about my own chin, but he grew a beard, and he's completely different. And I wonder if visuals are important. I wonder if he had the beard during the 2016 debates, whether that would have helped him too. But I'm kind of going off on a tangent here. The point is that if these people who should know that they don't have a chance, if they don't want Trump to be the nominee, they should all get out of the way, except for DeSantis, who hasn't declared, by the way, that he's going to run. But if he does, they should all get behind him, because he is the only alternative, practical alternative to Trump, and he is way behind, which is another reason for them to get out. But a billionaire, I forget his name offhand, but one of the billionaires who was originally thinking of backing DeSantis, he pulled out. He changed his mind and said he's not going to back him because of DeSantis's stance on abortion or something, just kind of and that he doesn't see DeSantis as being sufficiently favorable to the First Amendment and free speech, something like that. The whole point is that that DeSantis lost a billionaire's support, but also Trump has risen in the polls, as I just said, not just the primary polls among Republicans, but for the general election. And the final point I want to make, though, is because we want to know what happened since Trump was indicted. It was supposed to hurt him. Well, his campaign just released their first figures, how much money they took in for the first quarter. $19 million. $19 million, almost like 18,800,000, something like that. Close to 19 million, but 15 million of that, about just short of 15 million of that, was since the indictment. So most of this money, I mean, I remember reading that he raised 5 million just the day after the indictment, and then he's just gone up from there. So I just want to throw that in there, that Trump is very much in the game, and the indictment hasn't hurt him, and probably is helping him. So you Democrats, if anybody liberals, if you're watching this, and in fact, Bill Maher gave. He warned Democrats. He said, you might want to think twice about harping on these indictments and attacking Trump, because you might be helping him, just as he was just giving him the publicity, just as happened in 2016, positive or negative. I mean, he got a lot of airtime, TV time, because they thought he was interesting, and they just thought he was a novelty that couldn't win. But there was also a lot of negative attacks on him, especially getting closer to the election, as it looked as he was neck and neck with Hillary Clinton. So yeah, you might want to think twice, you Democrats, about attacking Trump. You might be, well, you could be damned if you do and damned if you don't. That well, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter, attack him or don't attack him. But you got your own problems, let's put it that way, with Joe Biden. You got your own problems with Joe Biden, his candidacy, because he is obviously, the dementia is just getting worse and worse as time goes on. And he just, I mean, in Ireland, I'm not going to, make this too long, go into details. I said at the beginning this would be short. Maybe it's not turning out that way now. But he really embarrasses us. Every time he goes overseas, he just embarrasses us. And that his weakness to China. China is eating our lunch or building our military, and Biden is doing nothing about it. I think it's very possible that he's compromised by the Chinese. And now we're having hearings, and I understand that, well, the media buried the $1.3 million that we already know went to the Biden family, but there are more on the way. Supposedly James Comer, the chairman of the Republican House Committee that is investigating this, one of them, the other one would be the Judiciary Committee. That would be Jim Jordan. But I think he's on another subject at the moment. But James Comer said that he could be holding a conference, a news conference, in the next 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. But he said, he was interviewed, I think over the weekend, and he said that it's going to get to the point where the media cannot bury this story anymore, the corruption of the Biden family. And with, the head, the Don Corleone, the godfather of the Biden family, being Joe Biden. So wait for further developments, which you will hear about here if you subscribe and watch me every day. Sooner or later, I'll share the news with you when the news comes out. And for now, thanks for stopping by. I would love for you to stop by, well, every day going into the future, or every day that I have a vlog. And I guess that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.